Welcome to the Evening Gamer.
Welcome, everybody. How are we?
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Guy. This is episode 7.
Episode 7. And that's the way the news goes.
That is the way the news goes. And we have a hell of an episode today. A lot to cover off. My game today is Need for Speed Unbound.
And mine is No Man's Sky.
I'm doing a bit of a back catalogue on this one, but it was a game I really enjoyed, so I'm excited to talk about it. But before we get into our games, in our last episode, I talked about a game, and I couldn't remember the name of it, and it was Prey.
Oh, so you've gone straight into correct me if I'm wrong.
I have done, yeah. So Prey, that game, and the song was Don't Fear the Reaper by the Blue Oyster Cult. And it is, I've sent you the clip for it, and we should check it out. It is amazing. You know, it's just sort of this song comes on, everybody's getting sucked up into this spaceship, and then you basically, I think, watch your friends all get murdered on an alien ship. Is like, it's bloody really like grotesque, but hell of a game.
Didn't you also forget Myst? Did you mention Myst to me?
I did mention Myst in a previous one, yeah. One other thing I did want to talk about, I'm sort of just riffing here, is in the last episode, you mentioned seeing Dune 2.
Yes.
And I have now seen it.
Oh, yeah?
And you said, what did you say? It was
best movie I've ever seen.
Best movie you've ever seen. And I'm going to say, not maybe the best movie I've ever seen, but it's the best movie I've seen, I reckon, in the cinemas for the better part of fucking 7 years or something. Like,
so pretty much what you're telling me is that my recommendations continue, despite you ignoring most of them, continue to live up to the hype.
Yeah, you're on a good track record at the minute.
It was good, hey. Like,
it was fucking phenomenal.
When you think sci-fi and you think trilogy, you think things like, or sci-fi fantasy, you think like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, things like that. And I don't think since then, I mean, The Hobbit really tried, but I don't think since then I've been as impressed with a sci-fi trilogy as I have been with Dune. And I do hope it turns into a trilogy. I hope it has the success it's after.
I hope it's more than just a trilogy. I mean, those books, there's a fair few books, and I know it jumps around a lot in sort of a timeline. The next one, I think, is 10,000 years in the future or something like that. But yeah, like I think the last time I went to the cinema and I was absolutely blown away like that was Infinity War Part 2. You know, and the climax of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe was pretty fucking cool. Tony Stark, the Click, all that sort of stuff. But seeing that movie, like, I don't want to ruin it. Or can we ruin it?
Do it. Say what you want, man.
Man, when those worms fucking come out and they're riding them towards that thing, oh my God. Like, fucking nerdgasm for sure.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, no spoilers, but if you like to see big action battle scenes, and especially a build up to that, and then the movie delivers on it, Dune 2 it's all about that.
Yeah. I saw it with my brother and a bunch of his mates, and like, you know, they're all really nerdy guys, no offense. And when we all came out of the movie and like, we had no notes. You know, usually you watch a movie, you come out, you discuss it. Oh, what was this about? That scene didn't make sense, or, you know, I didn't like this about it. We all just kind of stood there a little bit like taken aback, you know, almost sort of too stunned to fucking talk about it. It was phenomenal.
I know, it really just does deliver. It was so good. And again, just if you still haven't seen it or listened to the previous episode, go see it. I think it's still in cinemas, so you're probably coming up to your last chance to see it.
No way. It'll be in cinemas for ages.
I don't go and watch movies in the cinema. I don't know. How long do they stay in cinema now?
I mean, when they're good and people are watching and bums on seats, like, they'll stay in the cinemas for a while.
It's kind of like a demand-supply kind of thing.
I think so, yeah.
Well, there you go. Any other corrections? Because I know I think I have one.
Do you?
Yeah, and
I don't think I have any more.
I called Chat GPT Chat GTP, which is something. My sister messaged it to me. Like, I was at work and she messaged it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been known to do that, because here in Australia there's TPG, which is the not to give free advertisements out to our like fucking 50 listeners or whatever, but I think that just confused me.
I love how like just specific of a correction if I'm wrong that is.
And you know what's funny? I'm actually not convinced I did it the right way round in that corrections just now, but I got the name wrong, so whatever.
I think everybody knows what you mean.
Yeah, there we go. Any other corrections while we're in this space?
No other corrections from me, but there is write-ins that we were going to talk about. We've had 2 write-ins, and funnily enough, big supporters of ours.
Yeah, funnily enough, both of our older brothers, lol, have written in to...
It's great to have the support from a family.
To be fair, Kyle, my brother, he wrote in to give well, he actually gave us some really funny feedback on an episode, but his write-in was going back to, I think it was episode 1 or 2 when we spoke about like top weapons.
Yes.
So
It's the same with my brother, yeah.
Yeah. So he wrote in and said I don't know the exact name, but everyone would know this, the Halo like electric sword that the elites used to run around with. I'll get the exact name when I have access to my
glass
laptop
sword or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah,
that.
but
that's a good weapon choice. I like that one. That's
especially
strong.
in multiplayer, like when you're playing online and you get one of those, you're like,
oh man,
like,
much
it's
fun.
a one-shot kill.
Yeah, the uppercut on that is something gaming satisfaction for sure.
And also, do you remember when Halo did Firefight and you'd have to like round 10 of Firefight?
Yeah.
I think it was Halo Reach or Halo 4 did Firefight, and like the round 10 was just all those elites that were invisible. The swords that actually brought up a bit of anxiety. You were I'm in trouble here.
Those firefights, because we played that for a while.
It was actually really good fun.
Funnily, I was like, this is so stupid to say, but I've just remembered that's where we got the fucking tattoos from.
Yeah. Oh wow, we're talking about our tattoos.
You, me, and your brother all have
the
sort of matching tattoos. Funny
story behind that. So yeah, our little trio of gaming clan is called the Tit Team. The reason why is because on Halo Reach, I think Kyle,
I did. I did Tit 9. I did TIT9 is the, like, what do they call those things? The code tag. Thing? The clan tag.
It automatically generated Tit 9 for you.
I think that was it, yeah.
And then
we did Tit 6 and Tit 3 or something.
Tit 3, yeah. So we all had that tattooed on us. That's, the Tit Team. We've been at it for a while. The
32-year-old gamers.
Yep. with our fucking clan tag tattooed on us.
And previously I was calling someone a group of nerds, but it's unashamedly.
I have no intention to get that tattoo removed by that is on me, and I'll be buried with that tattoo.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I like that 100%. One. It's a good one.
So thanks, Carl. He also mentioned that we should be drinking more water because when he listens in his AirPods, he can hear the sound of our lips smacking together. So we're within our first 10 episodes, so cut us some slack, but we hear you.
Yeah, Carl, come on, mate.
Hell, man.
I've been on a 4-day bender, man. Relax.
Okay, you got to stop talking. This is a gaming podcast, guy. You got to stop talking about your drinking shenanigans, please. Let's get into what your brother said because he sent in a nice long email. I actually haven't read it.
Yeah, it was a long one.
You read it. Give me
I did. So he talked about his favorite gun, and it was in Half-Life 2. And I think the gravity gun is what it's called. And I've played the game, and I do remember it. But he was sort of in great detail. Reminded me of this thing, and it was fantastic of sort of, grab objects, fire them at other people. It then levels up later on, and you can actually grab like people by their body parts and like just,
so good.
Fire like a buzzsaw that you find on the ground or an explosive barrel, these kind of things. And yeah, like, those Half-Life games, oh my God, like it's just out of this world.
I mean, games. Yeah, when I think of like being in school and gaming, it was Counter-Strike, and it was Half-Life, and it was Alien and Predator. Remember those games came out? That's just, I don't know why, but when I remember gaming back in school, did you never? You're looking at me weird. Did you never play Alien?
And Predator?
No, just Alien. I think it was just Alien. But it was from that franchise. Like it was the Alien. Did you never play those games on PS2?
Alien and Predator games.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll talk about it more another time. But I've actually just looked up the sword from Halo. It's called the Energy Sword. Don't know how I forgot that.
And of course, it's the Energy Sword.
Yeah, there we go.
Of course, it is.
Any other? I think that's it for write-ins this week.
Yeah, that was it.
Just our older brothers. Giving us a bit of shtick and adding a bit of value.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Lovely. Cool. So I suppose in terms of structure, 2 reviews today. We've got questions from the hat. That was Corrections Corner. Welcome back. Lovely to have you. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So, Need for Speed Unbound came out 2022 and made by Criterion Games, and it's been a little bit since their last time they did a Need for Speed. So the last one they did was Need for Speed Most Wanted, which was a little while back. Played that one, really enjoyed that one, and sort of, was excited. They've also done Burnout, which, I think I mentioned in a previous podcast. I really enjoyed sort of racing down the streets of sort of the Paris, I don't know, sort of really tight corners in Italy or something with a Formula One car. It was sort of a real memory for me. And these games always, I'm not a big car guy by any means. It's, I'm sort of, but racing games and these kind of ones, there's something about them that are really satisfying of sort of leveling up your car and modifying it, the art style. It's sort of, it's reminds me of like, just, when you play those games, the satisfaction of building this car and then driving around the streets, it's like going for a drive yourself, but gaming is escapism, and you get to go places that you never would have gone likely. And I've got these fond memories of it raining in the game. Riders on the Storm, that song, Snoop Dogg's remix of, was it Need for Speed Underground 2? Those games are such a cult classic, and a lot of people sort of have really fond memories of playing that. And yeah, this game was, the soundtrack's phenomenal. There was a whole bunch of songs that I pulled out, put on my Spotify playlist. I'm half tempted to say, let's put it in the notes, of the episode and sort of, share a bit of our favorite tunes from it. I think we previously in one of our questions from a hat did favorite songs, and I probably should have mentioned Riders on the Storm or some of these other ones from this game, because the soundtrack just adds so much to a good game. But anyway, so I've sort of gone on tangents here. Need for Speed Underground. So the storyline for this, it's like, the Need for Speed games have been notoriously hokey. Like, the sort of the acting, the cinematics, you're always like...
What do you mean hokey?
As in, like, what am I...
I've never heard that term before.
Like, it's like Fast and the Furious kind of acting. It's just sort of...
It's a bit like... It's a bit like laissez-faire, huge...
It's cringe. It's cringe.
It's almost like an action movie where it knows that it's like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of like that, but it's like they're trying hard.
Who is it from? Is it one of those Chicago NCIS shows?
Well, Horatio, whatever. He does this sunglasses off.
Yeah. Something's afoot. It's like that. It's like it knows that it's cringe, but it's kind of funny.
You're on the money with that. Yeah. So yeah, the storyline in this one actually though was better than it's been in a while from Need for Speed games. Like, I think it was actually, I got into it a little bit. It was cool. So you have a offsider, she kind of betrays you, steals a whole bunch of cars, then you have to sort of, work to try and get some money back, and then you reconcile at the end of the game, not to ruin it, but, you don't play these games with a fucking storyline anyway. But the mechanics and the feel was really good on this, and the world building. So it's sort of it's a fake city called Lakeshore, but it's based off Chicago. And driving around it and doing the races through it, and the art style, it had a very graffiti kind of
street vibe. They often do, especially Underground had a big street vibe. I remember playing it. Yeah.
So with this one though, it was like even built into the game was like when you hit the boost, it was like these kind of things would come off the back of your car that was kind of looking like graffiti in the game. So it kind of veered a little bit away from the realism of racing. And I sort of, the Need for Speed games are the ones that have always been the tick boxes for me. Like I remember playing Need for Speed, the OG ones back on PC, and you're playing it with the sort of your fingers on the keyboard and your left, right,
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, because these games, I've done a lot of the Formula 1 games.
Yes.
And
yes.
I find that you can play these games on controller, but they are really designed to be played in like a racing pod.
Oh, for sure.
With a separate little setup with your brake pedals, with your steering wheel. And that might be like a hurdle that these games have, is that your average gamer that has their console or their PC and their controller doesn't really get to experience these games the way they were designed to be experienced, because they just don't have that setup.
Yeah.
But if you do have that setup, it's amazing. And you're right. When it comes to Underground, you could play that on an M&K setup, mouse and key setup, and it was still hella fun.
It was, it is. But you are absolutely right. And I think it's that whole industry of going into like the pod racing, these builds. Max Verstappen, the amount of time he spends on these things. I think it goes to show, his skill set. Like there is transferable skills with that. But you are right that it would be better with a full setup. But on the controller, still fun. Still a blast. So we should have probably started with this, but we've got a new rating system. We've really kind of nailed it down to quite a clear process here.
Yeah. So this is the perfect time to go into it, actually, because I'm assuming you're about to do your review. So we really want to have a really representative review rating system.
Yeah.
That isn't just like a number off the top of our head anymore. We've actually broken it down into 5 categories that every game has.
Yeah.
And we're going to rate each of those 5 categories out of 10. And we're going to,
get an average
I've
score.
essentially got a formula on Excel which spits out an out of 10 score.
Yep.
Do you want to go down the 5 categories that we've put down there?
Yes. So storyline, the feel and mechanics, challenge and entertainment factor, the character build or development in the game, and then any loot or sort of additional add-on extras, sort of side questies or whatever.
Yeah, they're like those little, kind of like the miscellaneous category, like the thing that's like, oh, that was cool, little additions to the game.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're about to go into your out of 10 rating here for Need for Speed?
I think I was going to talk about it sort of a little bit longer. So I've sort of touched on the storyline, the art style of it, the soundtrack, but just the going for a cruise in this game, these rolling hills, and the police chases that occur in it, and the sort of the cars that you sort of, I'm trying to remember. There was in one of these past games, like there was a BMW that was sort of like, all of them are kind of notorious for having a specific car for them. Like
it was probably one of the M series.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, this game, so like just cruising around in the Chicago world, listening to this soundtrack, it was a pleasure. You
know what it does well as well is, and I think this is where the kind of the Fast and Furious franchise really kind of correlates, and you can put them side by side, this game and that franchise, because you have those moments in those movies where you watch them like flick a button in their car.
Oh yeah.
And like the additional like turbo boosters come out, and that it's just so far from real life driving. But then you jump in these games and you get to have that moment where you're kind of in control of it. And I think that's that. I think when it comes to like that challenge entertainment aspect of this review system, I think that's what you're trying to touch on there.
No, you hit the nail on the head there, where it's like, you're flying off this ramp, and you're flying through the fucking air at 100 kilometers an hour, and in reality, your car hits the ground and it is the suspension shot, your neck broken, death immediately. In this game, you just hit the ground, your suspension's fine, and you keep on cruising. Like, it's great.
And you know what I think it did well as well is no one really wants to jump on to a racing game where qualifying's easy or whatever racing game it is, and then you're starting at the front of the grid and it's not a challenge. Yeah. Like, you want to go racing. And I remember Underground had that feel to it. Actually, some of the races were challenging, and I think a lot of what really engages you with these racing games is that when you play a boss in an RPG, you beat the boss and then that's it. But when you do a lap in a racing game, you're like, I want to perfect that lap now. Yeah. I want to perfect that track. I want to have the best time trial on this track. And you can honestly spend hours trying to perfect it.
I mean, that's very Formula One sort of style of like perfecting on the track. With the Need for Speed ones, you sort of, there's so many races and they change things up quite consistently. The drifting challenges are always really fun. But they've also got the police chases in there.
Yeah.
And the police chases, like, that's sort of the other element of it. And they are challenging. My God, like you get a 5 rating heat level or whatever, and you've got helicopters with spotlights. You've got SUVs ramming you, and like you just look back behind you as you're cruising down a highway, and it's just a sea of police. And that escapism as well of going, obviously in real life, you don't want to fucking do that, but in this game, it's fun as fuck.
Yeah. I would say that most gamers probably have some sort of racing game they either remember fondly or just sits in their hard drive, because you can visit it at any time.
Yeah.
And it's easy to play one.
It's easy. Yeah. It's a good stress reliever, I think.
Yeah. 100%.
There was
100% media.
Hey, there you go. 100%. We should change the name of the podcast. So there's with these games, I don't know if you're a racer, like, you with Formula One, you may not sort of have this thing, but when you play these games and you're driving along and you're going so fast, I love this part about it where like cars, you're speeding by cars, and then you're trying to get this perfect sort of thing or come first or whatever, and there'll be one car, and you can go to the left or right of it, but somehow your brain, you're looking at the car, you still just drive straight into the fucking car.
You want the slipstream.
I don't know what it is. It's the strangest thing.
Well, I remember in Need for Speed Underground, if you did a slipstream, the air filtering systems would give you a boost.
Yeah.
So it had that practical element.
But what I'm talking about with this is like, it's this like human thing of going like, I know I want to miss this car, but I still end up driving right into the fucking car.
Yeah, I need to overtake this guy, but he's got a bumper sticker that's really pissing me off right now.
Yeah, something about it. It's so strange.
Okay, rating system.
Yeah, rating. Sorry.
Storyline. Go.
Yeah, storyline 6 out of 10. I gave it.
Field
mechanics. I gave it high 9 out of 10.
Challenge entertainment.
Challenge entertainment factor 8 out of 10.
Okay, hang on. Let me Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
Yeah, the character build development, okay, I gave it a 4 out of 10 because it's sort of set characters and the development over the course of the game. It's a racing game. I mean, fuck.
Yeah. Would you include the abilities to upgrade your car and improve your car in that?
I wouldn't do it in character build and development, but I would in the loot and extras.
Okay, gotcha.
And I gave that a 9 out of 10 just because of that artistic, you paint the car, you choose the side rails, the bumper,
the mud flaps, the bumper,
all that kind of
spoiler,
stuff. And when you finish, you look at it and go like, "That's a fucking sick car."
Yeah,
like
the rims.
The
neon glow under.
Yeah, exactly. So, the music I reckon also put in the loot extras. That's why I've given that a high score. So I do think this is a really fun game. I'm excited for the next Need for Speed. I'm even considering adding to my list Need for Speed Heat, which was the predecessor to this game, because apparently that one wasn't too bad. But yeah, I don't mind a racing game every once in a while.
I think that's fair as well. Like the character dev and build, 4 out of 10. I think that's representative of most racing games, but it's picked up the rating through the loot and extra, so I think that's totally fair. Do you want to see what it spat out, mate?
Yes, let's hear it.
7.2 out of 10.
Fair. Yeah, that's probably on the money. I think, a lot of the reviews gave it around that. And I think, it was favorable. Yeah, it's a good game.
How good? Yeah, I think that's a perfect representation of that, because I have fond memories of it as well. I wouldn't give it lower than a 7, so I think you're bang on the money.
Nice. Done.
Which is another of our little
little sayings,
little catchphrases.
Little catchphrases.
Any final notes, man? Or do you want to pass it over to me for the old NMS?
Yeah, man. All over to you. I'm keen to hear you, No Man's Sky.
When did Underground come out, by the way, just before we move
2022.
Really?
PS5, Xbox, PC.
I was living vicariously just then through your review of a different one. But that sounds super aligned.
They are a little bit copy and paste games.
Oh no! We've done the rating. We can't go back and shit on it now. All right. Anyway, No Man's Sky.
Here we go.
Are you familiar?
I am familiar. I haven't played, but I am familiar.
Okay. Over the shoulder RPG developed by Hello Games, published by them as well. So it's a one man journey on this.
Yeah.
Released in 2016. Now, what I understand is this was a bunch of uni students that kind of developed and helped make this game, and they had all kind of like software AI backgrounds, and that's why it turned into what it is. So the game kind of delights players with 5 different pillars of gameplay, which isn't something that you see all that much anymore. It has survival, combat, discovery, base building, and trading. I've played a lot of hours of this game, and I've enjoyed every pillar, so I can speak to it. It's procedurally generated as well, which, again, we've said many times in this podcast how much power these types of games and add value rather procedurally generated games actually add.
Yeah.
It resulted in this game because of its exploratory discovery element. It's obviously a space-based game where you jump from planet to planet. Because of its procedural kind of capabilities, there's 18 quintillion. It's not a word that quintillion. Yeah, it's not a word that you say often. Planets that are possible.
Jesus.
So it's very difficult to have the exact setup that another gamer would have.
Or the same experiences.
The same experience, yeah. So it really was a game that was designed to be picked up and kind of never put down if that's what you're into. Like, it's 2024 now. It came out in 2016. I played it 2019 and 2020, and I've just downloaded it again thinking I really want to get back to like a base building game at the moment that I can, because I cleared out my Xbox hard drive the other day.
Right.
I finished Mirage, I finished Grounded, I finished a few things, and after clearing it out, I re-downloaded No Man's Sky.
Interesting.
To kind of go back. I've seen a lot of hype around it lately to see what they've done with DLC and new storylines and stuff like that. So this is very much an ongoing project. And I mentioned it when we spoke very briefly about Starfield.
Yes.
Because I put Starfield in direct competition with No Man's Sky.
Yes, I think
and No Man's Sky for me did so many things and pillars better than Starfield. And if I had to choose, I'd go No Man's Sky.
Fair.
It's very futuristic. And what I mean by that is, like, if you've seen, I know you have, if you've watched Rick and Morty, think of like that level of creativity. Like where there's 3 different species of aliens that are largely at war with each other that you interact with. In terms of the planets and their setup, where you travel to, it's very much that level of creativity that they've brought into this game. Where it's like, where are Rick and Morty going to go now? They just pull out a portal, they randomly land somewhere, and it's completely different. That was my experience with No Man's Sky. Another thing that I thought was really good, it gives the player to either become, like a pirate or a master trader. You can enter into black markets, you can get fake passports. It really gives you a hell of a lot of autonomy. So for me, really, really good. I've never seen a game that really ties in all of those 5 pillars incredibly well before. I went onto this game after playing Outer Wilds and then after playing Subnautica, and I needed another discovery point-click combat-based game that I wanted to go to, and I landed on No Man's Sky, and I haven't looked back.
Nice. I sort of, have been aware of this game since its release, and they have consistently updated it, added new things to it. And it's sort of often when you read those articles of going like, the greatest revivals or turnarounds on games, I think this one gets in the conversation just because of what it has become from what it started with, and what they sort of pitched it as at the start of it. I think when they released it, a lot of people sort of complained and felt it was kind of an empty world. But then as they've developed it and improved upon it, now it's become filled with life, and sort of the reason why I haven't played it is I'm intimidated by it.
It's a big game.
So fucking big that I just, for the evening gamer, I don't know if I've got it in me.
And look, one thing I will say is, there's 18 quintillion planets that are possible to visit. But look, I've been to probably 100 plus, and it gets to the point where you're like, you look up, you look around, and you go, I've kind of seen this before.
Yeah.
Like how many animals have they created that could possibly be mixed and matched?
Right.
How many different environment challenges can they bring in? There's toxicity, there's heat, there's cold on different planets. Like it gets to a point where it can't, okay, cool, it can procedurally generate different planets every time you visit to one, a new one. But at the end of the day, you get to another one, you're like, I've seen this before. I know what to loot. I know what it looks like. I know what the challenges are. So
when I was sort of like watching the gameplay and trailers for No Man's Sky, like I think in contrast to Starfield, I felt with Starfield, like the variety when you land on the planets wasn't enough for me. Like there seemed to be some variety and, you'd sort of come across lakes and sort of hills and these kind of things. But like, I don't know, I just like, for me, what I picture of sort of other planets out there, I'm almost thinking like Avatar, Avatar where they go to that fucking planet and there's like like huge rock faces and like the environment, the aliens are so different, so unique that it's Starfield, and I don't, you tell me with No Man's Sky, like it does it have that kind of alien element to it? Because I didn't feel like Starfield had enough of that. There was some, but not enough for me.
You go to a new planet in No Man's Sky, it most of the time is you and the aliens. That's it.
Yeah.
Like Starfield, you landed somewhere, and Starfield was more objective based. I will say that. No Man's Sky is like you do you.
Yeah.
There's obviously a storyline that you follow.
Right.
Which I've completed, which is very futuristic. It was quite fun, but in terms of interacting with the alien, like you can do whatever you want, and like the interaction is there. They're constantly on top of you, giving you grief, or you land on a peaceful planet and they're not, but they're still like it's when it comes to that aspect of it, it's all the game is really.
Is there? I mean, do you come across other players in this? Is this sort of one of those kind of games?
You can. So it actually has 3. That's actually a good question. It has 3 different game modes. It has survival. What's the game mode where if you die, you have to start all the way from the beginning? What's that called?
Oh, like a hardcore mode sort of thing.
I've forgotten the exact name for it. I'll look it up in a moment, but it's got that as well. And then it's also got multiplayer online where you can interact with different characters, different players rather, and do your own little grinds and your own builds together. But to stay on the building train there, they nailed the base building in this. Like it was really good. Starfield fell short. In this, it's fantastic. It's obviously resource driven, so you need to do your own looting and stuff to be able to build what you need to build. But you can build anything. Like it's like Minecraft in that way. They gave you all of the things that you need. You can buy upgrades and different little add-ons to help your base building, but there's essentially you could build a city in this game if you wanted to, which is where I think it really took over from Starfield, because what Starfield did is it would drop you in a planet, it would give you a small radius that you could explore. The base building was very clunky, very you can only build this and you can only build that there, whereas No Man's Sky didn't do that. No Man's Sky was very much block builder, build the wall, build the roof, do it yourself.
Gotcha.
So the autonomy around the base building was done way better in No Man's Sky for me.
Fair. Fair enough. All right. Well, so with your ratings,
Storyline 7.5.
okay,
It doesn't actually play a huge part in the game, but I think that the story that they did plug out was good.
nice. And feel mechanics,
8. Actually flowed really well.
okay. Challenge entertainment,
7. There weren't really any frustrating moments for me, but there were a few times where it was a close call.
okay. Character build and development,
8. Some people might disagree with me here, but you can make modifications to your character, you can make modifications and upgrades to your starship, and vice versa. So I gave it an 8.
okay. Just to hone in on that a little bit more. So with sort of storyline and character development with your character over the course of the storyline, and that is the story a good one? Does the character develop throughout the course of the game?
It's another game where your character doesn't really talk or have much emotional feeling, but it's very, very much like Zelda in this way that the NPCs around you do.
Okay.
So, yeah, I can't really talk to the storyline too much without giving spoilers away, but it did a few things well.
Okay. All right. In terms of storylines, what did you give the storyline on this?
A 7.5.
Okay. All right. And then loot extras.
8.
And what does that average come to?
7.7.
7.7. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So look, it's not like a 10,
Yeah.
but I think it's worth your time, and I think 7.7 when I think back on my experiences with it, how fun it was to play, and a few of the other challenges and bits and bobs in there. Yeah, 7.7 is probably pretty accurate. So I reckon with this new review system, mate, I think we're onto something.
I think we're onto something. I think we are. And I'm pleased that we've both done games that were, not knock out of the parks. I think it's important to give a range on this.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if no one's heard of either a Need for Speed or hasn't heard some sort of review or hype around No Man's Sky. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, wow, we're back to our old ways of doing this one and done.
I know we have knocked it out of the park. We've just
spoken for 30 minutes straight, and we're on to questions from a hat. Unless you've got anything else to add, mate.
I got nothing else to add. I am not convinced to play it. I don't know if should we ask. I feel like we should ask that question. Going, often we're reviewing games that neither the other person hasn't played. I think we should ask ourselves a question at the end. Going like, based on my review, would you play Need for Speed Unbound?
I absolutely would. I have a love for cars, speed, and racing, and I've played a Need for Speed in the past, which as a young lad blew my socks off. I think there was a Need for Speed like 10, 15 years ago, which was groundbreaking.
Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, I think. They were the ones a lot of people put on a pedestal, yeah.
And yeah, I have fond memories of that, so I would absolutely play it off the back of your recommendation. What about No Man's Sky? Now, I know that you said, you're already intimidated about these types of games. I actually wouldn't, this isn't a game I would recommend to you. I wouldn't recommend it to you, knowing how you like to game. And I think that's why Starfield wasn't a long project for you. It wasn't a long project for me because I knew Man's Sky did things better, and it just didn't impress me that much. But I think Starfield was much in the same category of No Man's Sky here in terms of a little bit intimidating, maybe too big.
Because I did play Starfield and I put it down, and I think I said in a previous episode, I didn't put it down because it was too big, too intimidating. I put it down because I wanted to see if they could improve it more. Like the points of interest, they just didn't feel like enough there. Like it was sort of, I think there was room for improvement, and I wanted to see if they would improve it.
That's fair. Is that a problem with today's gaming? Because when I spoke about Lords of the Fallen, that was also another game that was released too early. It seems to be happening more often than not that gamers pick up a game, start playing, go back to the developers and the publishing companies and say, what's going on here? Fix it.
Yeah. I think there's always unlike maybe when you release a movie, you don't have the ability to go back and re-edit the movie. Whereas with games, it's like, okay, if they're actually listening to their fans and they write in and say, yo, the whole base building in Starfield seems redundant. You built it so there was supposed to be the building and you have to transfer resources from different planets.
And you can't even do that very well.
And it's sort of a real clunky kind of system. And so they'd hopefully listen and release it and update it. Yeah, it's sort of like a director's cut.
Yeah, they have a bit of an upper hand there in terms of continuously working on their product.
Yeah, they do.
But at the same time, and maybe this is the new age of gaming, the cloud-based gaming kind of thing, where you don't take home a hard copy of Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64 and it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is very much, we're in the era of, they can do updates. Almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think that Have like where are your playtesters giving you feedback before you go to release? Like, is it just because you're rushed? Is it because you want to time your game in accordance with your competitors? I don't know what it is, but it seems to be more often than not that we sit here and be like, this game was released too early. Some things are pretty dog shit on it. Fix it. And yeah, thank God it is cloud based and they have the power to do that. But I'm not super impressed by developers that release games that aren't ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's we mentioned it jokingly in the last episode, the Cyberpunk one, sort of what you pitch something as in your advertisements, make people sort of really interested in the game. You buy the game and then you're like, wait a minute, you've ripped this all out, you've kind of fiddled with it. This isn't what you promised us, basically.
Yeah, or it could be our expectations as gamers as well, that like you think of how far gaming has come in the last 20 years and the criteria that we have, the benchmarks of games that we have to constantly compare new games to. Maybe it's a little bit of our expectations as well, wanting more and wanting better. People seem to be way more attentive to how much they spend on a game and the life of that game and things like that. So maybe it's us, but if nothing else, in our defense, gaming has led us to have those level of expectations. So I think they should be delivered on.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's sort of maybe we should do an episode about sort of games that have really hit the mark over the last 20, 25 years and just broken ground. I mean, I feel like we may have talked about it previously with some of our favorite games.
Yeah, kind of like the trailblazers of their genre. Yeah, maybe we do. But for now,
yes,
we're coming up to 36 minutes. So yeah, let's do questions from a hat. You are up first because I went first last week.
Worst game ever recommended to me.
Like not one that you read a review online. I'm talking like one where a mate came to you and was like, dude, you should play this game.
God, I'm quickly going on my Xbox app because I reckon I've got a game in there that I started playing. Somebody recommended to me and I can
go
down.
First if you want.
Yeah, you go first actually, yeah.
For me, Alan Wake.
And
I know people are going to be, what do you mean? That was a great game. No, I don't think it was. If you're a gamer that loves storyline, okay, I can see that part of it. But it's playability, how every single mission in Alan Wake was the same thing. And there were like 12 of them. You ran through a forest with a flashlight and you ran from the same enemies the entire game. That's all it was. And for me, I played it and I was like, no, it was highly recommended to me by a few people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm just not into that. I know it was a while ago that Alan Wake 1 came out, but I was not impressed.
Fair. I mean, Alan Wake, I think it's sort of a flashlight, And
it was trying to, it was very horror based. There were some moments in there I was like, that was pretty creative, that was good, but in terms of an entire, a game from a holistic perspective, I rushed to finish it by the end because I was like, I'm bored. I am so bored.
So, okay, I've got one, and it's going to trigger you if you're ready for this.
Yeah. Is it? Oh my God, is it something I recommended to
you?
Yeah. Oh no, mate. We're trying to build a. Being respective game reviewers here, and you're about to shit on a review I gave you or a recommendation.
Mate, I think when I say this game, I think you might king hit me.
Oh my, okay. Let me have it.
So my game, the worst game ever recommended. No, this isn't fair.
I can see it in the DVR there. Oh no.
It's not the worst game ever recommended to me. I'm sure there's worse games recommended to me going back, but this is just a recent one that I played a little bit ago. So you recommended to me Doom Eternal and the Doom predecessor that sort of came out recently. Doom Eternal was the recent one, yeah.
You're talking about the one that came out in like 2015.
Before that one, yeah. So I played the 2015-ish one a little bit, and then I gave Doom Eternal a fair bit more time than that, but I didn't make it too deep into it. And I know you love these games. I know you do. And they are good games. So this isn't a thing of going, I'm shitting on the game itself. For me, it's like the way I play games, and we've talked about it before, I'm a meticulous gamer and I have to go everywhere and do everything. And in these games, like the fast-paced nature of it sometimes, like it just gave me a headache sometimes, and trying to find these fucking little nooks and crannies, and you're like trying to platform your way there, and then you die, and then you're like, fuck, like I want to get whatever this stupid fucking thing is over there. And I eventually, like, because it becomes so difficult to like hit the get the skull or whatever it is, I just get frustrated.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I love Doom Eternal because it's movement tech.
Its movement is tight. It is tight. I'll give you that. And like I was thinking one of the other ones.
Your success in that game is so heavily based on how you upgrade your guns and more importantly, how you use them.
Yeah.
Because what they did in Doom Eternal, different from the first one, was so like when you kill an enemy with fire, you get ammo.
Yes.
And I think when you punch out an enemy to kill them, you get health. There's no other way to get ammo and health in that game unless you use the resources available to you very, very well. And I had trouble with it at the beginning of Doom Eternal as well. I was like, what's going on here? But once I figured it out, I had a hell of fun.
Maybe I just didn't give it enough time. I don't know. I sort of played like a whole bunch of the early missions, and I really wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because like people do rate it, and the whole story behind it really intrigues me, of like this hell spawning on Earth kind of thing, and the cinematics and the guy, the lead guy, it's like a Master Chief level character. You know what I mean? Like he's this stoic,
like demigod level kind of.
Yeah, like, and I love that thing of just humanity, like, and this guy, yeah.
No, but I can understand that. You're right. It's a very intense game. It's very fast paced, and I did it at the highest difficulty.
Fuck, you're
which
insane.
is the way I really enjoyed playing it. There were some levels that took me like 45 minutes.
Fucking.
But like some boss fights, like but for me it was a lot of fun. But I can see why people wouldn't be on board.
I think this is another really weird criticism of it, but when I play first person shooters, I don't like the fact that I have to fucking melee to get health. Like, I get the concept of it, and it's genius. It's smart of going in. It forces you into a style of gunplay. It's tight. You get close quarters. You to get health, you have to kill someone. So if you're low on health, the only way to get out of that situation is to fucking kill an enemy. But that annoys me. I don't know why. Like, it just frustrates me that it's like...
I get that. I mean, we spoke previously about how I have scrap sessions with Guy. You're a looter. You are a looter at heart. You're a looter gamer. Yeah. I love tactics and challenge.
Yeah.
That is where we differ. And
no, agreed.
Yeah, I really like having to use every finger on both of my hands to play a game. Like that's when I really started to enjoy it.
It's sort of like playing the piano on a controller.
Yeah, the dexterity involved to be good at Doom was something that really drew me to it. But no, that's fair enough. That's totally fair enough.
I do like this question, like that you've posed to me, of going, worst game ever recommended to me, and I'm sure there'll be another one.
Well, we can talk about it. Correct me if I'm wrong next week, man. You can have a full week to think about it, and we can have a bit of a yarn over it. But let's get on to my question.
Yes, let's do yours.
Favorite mobile game?
I feel like I know what your answer is going to be.
Great question. Well, have a guess.
Is it the Clash of fucking Loser Clans?
Good old cock, mate. COC, Clash of Clans. Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm up to Town Hall 16 on it. I've got a really good thing going, man. I'm in a clan. And they've integrated season passes on this game so well. It baits me into buying the season pass every month. Like, honestly, it is so good. And you know what they've done so well is it started off as a game that you just did by yourself. I've been playing this game since 2017. No, longer. I've been playing this game since I was 18 years old, which was 12 years ago.
That's insane.
So 2012, just as I got out of school. And I'm still managing the same base.
That's insane.
That's how long if you just start Clash of Clans now, you're looking at 12 years until you're at where I'm at.
Jesus.
I know, it's crazy. Well, no, to be honest, with the season passes, you'd be able to speed that up a lot. It's really improved around the loot that you can get and how quickly you can upgrade things. There's a cash grab element to it, but if you don't buy into that, you can have a lot of fun. But
why is this game so fun? Why has it got its claws in you? Because every time I look at it on your screen, it doesn't appeal to me at all. And I just think of these, like, back in the day, like those websites where it was like, Farmville thingies, like, it doesn't tick my boxes.
I think because there's a big competitive nature to it now, and there's a really, really good integrated ranked system. And like, I'm in a clan of 50 people now. My brother is in the same clan, and he's gotten his girlfriend into the same clan now.
Is Tiff playing this game as well?
Tiffany is playing Clash of Clans now, and she's actually got a pretty good Town Hall setup going.
Oh my God.
But it's really competitive, man. I'm Town Hall 16. I'm in the like God Elite League. I've forgotten the exact name of it. Fuck. But very high up, very high ranked in the clan, like elder kind of status. So I'm in every clan war.
Oh my God.
I lead the way in every clash every week. Like it's and you have complete control. It's just, trust me, it's when it comes to mobile games, Supercell and Clash of Clans has written the book on how to make a successful one, for sure. And there's so many copycat games out there now of Clash of Clans.
There is a lot of copycats.
And you know what else about Clash of Clans? It's so tactical. There's so many different troops and spells that you actually have. Every single raid I go into, I'm looking for a particular town hall that plays into my strengths of my tactics. I'm telling you, man, it's a game. Look, it's not a game I sit there and play every single day, but it's the game when I'm on the bus, when I'm chilling out on the couch or whatever, I'm playing Clash of Clans for sure.
Fair, okay. So my favorite mobile game, and I'm not a massive mobile gamer, like sort of, I occasionally will dip my toe into this world, is Escape the Spire, and another one is called Dawncaster. And the reason why I like these mobile games is they're sort of kind of card-based. So you sort of...
Like Magic the Gathering?
Kind of, yeah. Like you sort of you've got a deck, you get shuffled out these cards and then, they do spells, attacks, defense kind of thing, and they're both sort of roguelikes, so you sort of replayability of them.
Okay.
And
sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, in essence, you can improve your deck, and sort of get better cards, and it's as you said with yours, a nice game just to play on the bus on your way into work.
And strategy involved.
And strategy, yeah.
I actually think
a little bit of RNG of sort of how lucky the deck comes out as, but because in it you improve your deck, or at least in Dawncaster, you can improve your deck over the course of your run. You get to pick which cards out of a pool of them, and then they sort of synergize over the course of the run. So then you get towards sort of the back end, you're versing a boss, and it's really satisfying of going like, my deck synergy is fucking fire, and you just absolutely clap cheeks at this boss. Like, it's
clap cheeks. Clap cheeks media. That actually has a ring to it.
No, we should get that tattooed to us.
No, but as someone, I play chess. I play chess on chess.com. What were we talking about the other day with Baldur's Gate 3? What kind of combat system was it again that you said? Like turn-based. I actually have a big love for turn-based games. Games where you actually have to sit down and think and be like, fuck, that was a good move. Like, what do I do now? And I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With whatever capability it had 20 years ago. But I have a huge love for things like that. You've sold that to me. I might have a look at that on my mobile.
Yeah, man. Dawncaster is pretty fun. And they're relatively new, and they're releasing sort of DLCs and sort of packs. And Escape the Spire was really got its hooks into me as well. Both really fun games.
How good. Well, mate, we've just done 47 minutes straight, one and done.
I love that.
We're back to episode 1.
Pure riffing.
How good.
Mate, that was a great episode. I really enjoyed that one.
And, I guess nothing else to say, but don't be an NPC.
Keep leveling the fuck up.
Cheers.